everyone, thanks for joining me in another video. I hope you're doing really well. So today I've come out, and to be honest the weather forecast is not too promising, but I've still come out. And the reasons I've come out is that 1, I love being outdoors, 2, I love doing photography, and 3, I love the process of just taking images regardless of whether or not they're my best images or not. And the message I want to start off this video with is just encouraging people to get out and do photography. Sometimes if the weather forecast isn't too good, or you don't think there's nowhere fantastic to go without travelling many miles, you tend to not go. And I think also with the modern era of social media, YouTube, Instagram and so on, I think if people feel they're not going to get their best images on a particular day, or the images they have to show in a video won't be fantastic, they tend to not go out. But I don't think that's a realistic representation of photography. You don't always end up in fantastic locations, you don't always end up with fantastic lighting conditions and fantastic weather. For me personally, that's not an issue. I just love the whole process, the whole thing about being outdoors, the whole thing about photography so much. I'm always keen to go out. And in my videos I try and just show a realistic representation of how things are. Some videos I may get images I'm really happy with, other images that I get in other videos I may just think are mediocre or not very good at all. But that's the simple truth of how photography is. And that's basically the encouragement I want to give at the start of this video. Regarding today, the weather at the moment is actually quite nice. I've experienced pretty much everything travelling here. I've had sunshine, I've had rain, I've had very overcast conditions. It's quite early in the morning, but later in the day it's actually forecast for heavy thunder and lightning, so I'm keen to get the best of the morning, enjoy it before that comes in the early afternoon. So I hope you enjoy watching. I'm going to enjoy my time out. Who knows what I'll find in terms of photography, but as I said, it's all about the process and enjoying it. So I'm all set up to take another image today, and hopefully you've been seeing in the video so far how all over the place the light is today. At the moment it's really bright. There's other times it's been raining and it's been incredibly dull, so it really is challenging. And light is always so important when you're doing landscape photography, but in this shot behind me here I think the lighting is absolutely crucial to getting the overall final result looking how I want it. So in summertime a lot of people don't like going in the woodland. They think there's a lot of really dark green and so on, the colours are not at their best. But just behind me here, hopefully you can see I've got a really nice colourful scene. It's too bright at the moment, but the light's just all over the place today, going from bright to really dark. But we've got lots of different variations of shades on the leaves here just on the left of my image. And behind it here we've got these really bright trees, and that's one of the main reasons I don't want the sun too bright when I actually capture this image, because it just is overpowering. Then we've got all the lovely colour in the ground as well with the heather. So it really is a nice scene, and I really like the trees here, just their shape, how they gently lean over. It's difficult to show you in the video, but I'm just taking in enough of this scene and not too much. If you start to take in too much, I don't really like the look of some of these bushes behind me here. So I'm just taking in this on the left of my image, and some of the distant trees just end the image to the right. But as I say, it's all about getting this captured in the correct lighting conditions. I need the intensity of the sun just to drop a little bit, go behind some clouds, and I'll be able to take this shot. have seen in the video the changeable weather conditions. We've had really bright sun like it is at the moment, we've had strong wind, we've had overcast conditions, we've had rain, heavy rain, we've had a bit of everything, and I do think, although it looks so nice at the moment, the weather forecast is correct. There's some very dark skies over in that direction, so I do think the thunder and lightning will come later in the day. But anyway, I found this rather nice pond, and as always, although it's nice to be here, it doesn't always make a nice photograph if you take in everything. And what I've been drawn to in this scene is a specific few blades of grass or reeds that are coming out of the pond. When the sun comes out now, like it is, there's this specific patch which has been the only one in the pond that catches the sunlight. As the sun moves in the sky, we're starting to get a few to the right of it now catching the sunlight, but it's always been that specific small patch of grass or reeds growing out of the pond, and I just really like it. So I've set up a simple composition with my 70 to 200 lens on the camera here. Got the polarizer on as well, just using it just a little bit, not too much of a turn. I don't want to take too much of the brightness out of the scene and the reflections in the water, so I've just turned it enough so the image looks good and it does its job subtly. And that's going to be my final image for today. Quite simple, but I'm quite pleased with it. So there's been some more rain. When I was setting up the camera to take this little section, the sun came out, and now when I've come over here it's got quite overcast again, so getting the exposure right today is quite tricky because of the changeable lighting conditions. But that's me finished for today. I really do think this thunderstorm is going to come in maybe the next hour and a quarter, so I'm going to get out of the woodland and get back home before that starts. I've really enjoyed my photography today. And I'd like to leave you with a message at the end of this video, pretty much a continuation of what I spoke about way back at the beginning of this video. And that is the importance of actually enjoying our photography. I think it's easy to fall into the trap of only wanting to go out to locations or in weather conditions where we think we're going to potentially get some of our very best images, portfolio quality images. And I think that can detract from the enjoyment of photography. I think it's important to head out to a variety of different locations in a variety of different weather conditions, even though the weather is not at its best for landscape photography, and just enjoy the actual process of taking images. We all want to improve, but I think it's really important to enjoy it as well. So just going out exploring is enjoyable, looking for compositions, finding something, fine-tuning it, getting the tripod set up, getting your camera settings to get the scene looking the way you want it. Sometimes it can be a vista, sometimes it can be a very small section of a tree. Whatever it is, the actual process of getting your tripod, camera set up, fine-tuning the composition and settings is enjoyable, and that's what I'd like to encourage everyone to do. I think in the era of social media, there's so many pictures being thrown at us every hour of every day, and I think it's too easy to fall into the trap of wanting to only go out in days where we can potentially get some of our very best images, and I think it's also easy to fall into the trap of only wanting to show our very best images, but that's not a realistic representation of how landscape photography goes. You're not always going to get fantastic images, but I hope you've enjoyed watching as much as I've enjoyed being out today, and I'll see you in my next video.